For the past 7 years, my husband, 43, and I, 37 female, have been trying to have children, but we've been unsuccessful as we've gone to specialists and have been assured that we can't have children. Our hearts were broken, and since then we've wanted nothing less than to become parents and have something to call our own. Last year we decided to volunteer to help foster homes and help the youth and young adults struggling with homelessness. While doing this, we met our son's birth mother, Amelia, 19. She was pregnant and struggling with homelessness, and we offered to take her in, help her with maternity clothes, healthcare, transportation with doctor's appointments, etc. She took us up on our offer and moved in, and that's when she began telling us that her child's father wasn't in the picture and that she had no way to provide for him. She didn't know what she was going to do and had no job or way of caring for him. She was 20 weeks pregnant around this time. As our bond grew, we told her our struggles with having a child of our own and that it would mean the world to us to have a child as we're financially stable and have a loving family. We offered to adopt him and have her be a sister figure to him. We told her that this was completely her decision and that we would support whatever she wanted. After a few weeks, she told us that she wanted us to adopt him once she gave birth, and we agreed to an open adoption. We thanked her and we supported her in every way she needed, and she also had her own room in our home. Fast forward, she gave birth to our son, Aidan. I was there for the birth and our bond was unexplainable. Shortly afterward, the next morning, she signed off the adoption papers and terminated her rights. We then took him home along with her. About 2 weeks after her birth, she became clingy with our son. We explained that he was ours and she was welcome to help with him, but he was my son and I would make all the decisions regarding him. This upset her and she felt hurt, so we ultimately decided to ask her to move out, and once the adoption was finalized, we hadn't had any contact with her. We decided to close the adoption and we asked her not to contact us any further. His birth mother thinks I'm the idiot and accuses me of manipulating her with false pretenses. However, this isn't true. Aidan is our son and I am his mother, so I must do what's best for him. Am I the idiot? You're not just an idiot, you're evil. How can you live with yourself? You found a young woman facing incredible obstacles, brought her into your home, groomed her to give up her child on false pretense, and then slammed the door in her face. You lied to her about access she would have to her child. You stole that child. You deserve the absolute worst. Exactly. What OP did is straight up evil. My heart goes out to that poor girl. Poor thing probably has zero resources to reverse the adoption and nowhere safe to take the baby. It makes me so sad to think about what she must be going through. Homeless, got her baby stolen, postpartum, betrayed. Absolutely breathtaking. I agree. 2 weeks postpartum and now homeless. OP is straight up evil. It all sounds manipulative as heck. OP didn't do this for Aidan's best interests. It's often beneficial for adoptive children to be able to know their birth parents. They get the story from the horse's mouth and the reassurance that they weren't simply abandoned for the heck of it. OP did this for herself. Selfish is an understatement. Poor Aidan has parents like that. In order to close an open adoption, you must go to court. How legal is this adoption? It sounds like you took advantage of a woman who probably wouldn't have given up her child if she'd had a home or any support at all. You essentially coerced her, misled her, and then had her sign away her parental rights immediately after giving birth, all the while thinking she'd have a role in her child's life. You know she can't afford to challenge you in court. You effectively stole her child because you have money and she doesn't. I'm so angry reading this. That poor girl. He is not your son. You aren't his mother. Stop kidding yourself. You stole him. I, 33 male, am getting married next summer. I invited a friend from university to my wedding, but intentionally didn't give him a +1 for his wife. His wife and I do not get on. She attended university with us, and we had our fair share of fights then, and a rather large fuss some 5 odd years ago. We live on opposite sides of our country and only see each other a couple of times a year, if that, for special occasions like other friends' weddings. His wife and I can be generally cordial now, but mostly avoid or ignore one another. They got married around 4 years ago and I was not invited to their wedding. My friend told me, in no uncertain terms, that he wanted me there, but his wife didn't, and that he chose to respect her wishes on her big day. I was disappointed but understanding and never let it affect our friendship. I'm having a big wedding, and all guests with spouses, fiancés, and serious boyfriends and girlfriends are getting +1s, except for said friend. It's not a numbers issue, I simply don't want his wife in attendance. Given the lack of a +1, I've considered the likelihood that my friend will RSVP no, but I'm okay with this outcome. I have no intention of telling him ahead of time that most others are getting a +1, but I'm aware that he's most likely going to find out. My fiancée and I obviously discussed this matter, and she's fully supportive of this decision. Other friends whom I've spoken to tell me that I'm being ruthless and shouldn't have even invited my friend if I wasn't going to give him a +1 for his wife. So, am I the idiot? Edit, she cheated on my friend at university and they broke up. I wasn't as warm to her afterward, but not outwardly mean. She wanted him back and he asked for advice. I said, don't do it. He took her back anyways, obviously his right to do so, but I remained more distant from her. Not sure if my friend told her that I advised they remain broken up, I wouldn't be surprised, or if it was just me not being as friendly, but she turned nasty on me. 5 years ago, I called her out for her behaviour after she hurt me with multiple rude comments. Alcohol was involved, and I could have handled the situation with more finesse. Our interaction ruined a wonderful evening. Once we sobered up the following day, I apologised for my part and expected the same in return. Instead, she not only refused to apologise or accept any blame, but she also entirely rejected my apology. Not the idiot, you and your wife discussed it, are on the same page, and ultimately it's your wedding and you can invite whomever you'd like to, or not, just like your friend's wife, to their wedding. Side note, I disagree with your friends you shouldn't have sent the single invite to your friend. You sent him one, he's your friend, he can choose. Not sending one would have been ruthless. OP, I don't understand why you would even invite him. After a non-invite to their wedding, I'd consider the friendship over and be an acquaintance every now and again instead. No matter who she's married to, I wouldn't want this woman anywhere near my wedding. It probably would have been better to invite neither and just have a private conversation with him. I suspect that he won't come and the friendship has probably run its course, but you sound okay with that? I say you are the idiot simply because you intentionally put your so-called friend in an untenable position. Either invite the married couple as a couple or don't invite them at all. If you want your friend there, don't make him have to choose, and if you're okay with him not showing up, well then why invite him in the first place? It's like you're trying to make a point or something. You're asking him to travel across the country to celebrate your marriage, but to heck with the marriage is in. That is petty, small behaviour. Either don't invite him at all, or invite them both. If she hates you enough, she may decide she doesn't want to be there on her own. My husband, 40, is a doctor, and I, 29 female, don't work. I got married and had my kids, a young grammar school male, a preschool male and a toddler female soon after graduating from college, so I've never had a real job. I planned on working for a couple of years and had a few job offers, but my daughter happened sooner than we planned, so I just stayed home. While it is quite nice that I can afford to stay home, money was not the main reason I married my husband. I love him because of his personality. My stepsister, 30, has 3 children, pre-tween female, a young grammar school male, and a young male toddler. I babysit them fairly often. A few days ago, my parents had a barbecue at their house. My 5th anniversary was a few weeks ago, and my husband got me a diamond eternity band and a tennis bracelet. I showed those to my mom when my stepmother and stepsister walked over. My stepdad asked my stepsister when she was getting a ring. She gave me a dirty look and said, "Not everybody can afford to waste thousands of dollars on a shiny rock." I tried to be the bigger person and told my stepdad that she didn't need a ring and it was obvious that her boyfriend loved her a lot, whether she had one or not. She told me to screw off with my fake sympathy. I asked her if she woke up on the wrong side of the bed today and she said, "Some people actually have things to worry about. A useless little gold digger who's never worked a day wouldn't understand." I was quite offended, but I don't like confrontation, so I just smiled and told her to tell me if she needed help with anything. She said that she didn't need my charity and accused me of trying to make her and her family feel bad by flaunting my expensive jewellery. I reminded her that she chose to walk over and join our conversation. She said it's hard to feel happy when she and her boyfriend still rent a house and can't afford special stuff for themselves and their kids while working long hours. I was done with her BS, so I basically told her that that was their problem and there was nothing I could do about that. She said that her kids feel awful when they see all the nice things my kids have and her daughter really wants to be a ballerina and do gymnastics but she can't afford it, so she has to watch her cousin do everything she dreamed of doing. I told her to stop being a jealous witch and said that if she didn't want her kids to be jealous, then I won't babysit them anymore. She called me insensitive and said that I've always been given everything I want and I'm spoiled. I didn't want to engage with her anymore, so I left to talk to my sister-in-law. My stepsister left the barbecue immediately after that and is still mad at me. My mother thinks I should apologize to keep the peace. Am I the idiot? Edit, my post isn't very clear on everything. My sister and her boyfriend aren't married or engaged and have been together for 4 years. They don't have degrees and work low-wage jobs, and we live in California, so everything is insanely expensive. My stepdad was asking her when they were getting engaged. Not the idiot. If your stepsister wants to throw insults, she can't be surprised when you clap back, especially when you defended her and regularly babysat her children. You're perfectly within your rights to defend yourself, and it's you who is owed an apology. Tell your mother that you didn't start this fight, and you won't apologize for finishing it, but you will accept her apology when she's ready to give it. Until then, you two should steer clear of each other, and don't babysit for her until she apologizes. OMG, stepdad is the idiot too for tossing that grenade at the family gathering. OP, I think your stepdad has a bigger part in this than you think. How often does he make comments like this? She's clearly struggling, and having her father make comments like that while you admittedly are showing off your wealth and gifts to your mother. Money was indeed a factor in your marriage. You got with a man 11 years your senior in your early 20s and lived the luxurious life without working for it. You are in an extremely privileged position. I don't think it excuses her behavior, but I really would give her some understanding here. Does she see you as the golden child? If you are favored a lot more throughout her life, it can cause a huge amount of built-up resentment. She didn't walk into the conversation. Your stepfather threw her into the conversation by insulting her. She's likely been compared to you by him multiple times, while having her daughter blame her for not being rich enough or marrying a wealthy man. You're not the idiot, but I think you know she did hit some truths there. My husband has 2 girls from a previous marriage. Addison, tween, and Madeline, young tween. He and his ex broke up when she was pregnant with Madeline, and we started dating shortly after. I've been in the girls' life since Addison was a toddler and Madeline was an infant. We have primary custody during the school year. During the summer, they do 3 weeks with us, 1 week at their bio-mom's house. Their bio-mom has a tween stepdaughter, Lauren, that can be a bit of a bully. Madeline is very shy and has some sensory issues and minor developmental and speech delays, so she's seen as an easy target for Lauren. All 3 girls share a room, so Madeline doesn't really have an escape from Lauren. Last time I picked the girls up, Madeline ran to me and said that Lauren took a lot of her clothes and toys and wouldn't give them back. Their bio-mom said Madeline gave them to Lauren, but Addison confirmed that Lauren did take them from Madeline. I was able to get a couple of things back, like her favourite pyjamas and stuffed animal, but Lauren and their bio-mom wouldn't give anything else back. Their bio's mom is very close to 2 very nice moles. It's also important to mention that my husband and I are much more well off than their bio-mom and her husband. When Lauren and the girls' bio-mom wouldn't give the rest of Maddie's stuff back, I promised the girls a shopping spree at the nearby malls. Lauren said she wanted to come, but I told her that she just got a lot of new clothes and toys, so she didn't need to go. She returned a lot more of Maddie's stuff and asked if I could take her now, but the answer was still no. Lauren threw a temper tantrum, and the girls' bio-mom decided I was no longer welcome at her house and would only release the girls to their dad, which is against the custody order. My husband is defending me to their bio-mom, but he says I was petty and shouldn't have done that. Excuse me? Your husband is saying you are petty for not taking his ex's stepdaughter to the mall after she stole her stuff? No. She stole clothes and refused to give them back. Then their actual mom stood up for the thief. Huge idiot. They only returned some things so she could try going to the mall with you. Is that a joke? I wouldn't have taken her either way. Also, they don't bring any of their nice things to their mothers anymore. Is there a way you can give her a luggage lock for when she does stay there? Play stupid games and win stupid prizes. If the bio-mom refuses to release the kids to you, record her saying this and take her to court. Also, this wasn't petty. You're being a good stepmom. Bio-mom's angry because she has to deal with the aftermath of Lauren's tantrum when she created the monster. It's not your responsibility to take them shopping or buy anything for them, especially when she's stealing from your girls. Recently, after saving up my money, I, 26 male, went out and bought myself a 2019 Ford Mustang GT. As part of the purchase, I traded in my Beta, a 2005 Subaru Outback wagon, so I could have its plate transferred. When I did all of this, I didn't tell my family as I wanted to surprise them with it. Sadly, this has led to my situation with my sister, Sarah, teen, and her friends. It started a few days ago when my parents asked me if I could drive them home from a gathering. When I showed up, instead of her being with her usual gang of friends, she was with 2 different girls. While Sarah and one of her other friends could easily and comfortably get in, the same couldn't be said for Amy. Due to her obesity, she could only sit in the front seat, which caused 2 issues. The first was her thigh pressing up against the gear shift, which is a huge no-no in a manual transmission car. The second was her inability to buckle herself in as she had no extender or anything. Because of this, in the softest way possible, I had to explain to them that I couldn't drive them anywhere. I followed this up by saying they should call Amy's mom for a ride as she drove them in. They did just that and got a ride home. However, later in the day, I got angry calls from my mother and Sarah. They went on this whole spiel about how I ruined the gathering for Amy, who went home upset and crying. This was followed up by them saying I'm a huge idiot for not telling them about the car change. Looking back, I feel as if I'd done nothing wrong, as I believe the blame lies with Sarah and Amy. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. If you're so large that you can't fit in a car, you need to make specific arrangements and not make assumptions. At no point was it OP's responsibility to prepare for this situation. What was the original plan? Put Amy in the trunk of the station wagon? It's unfortunate and inconvenient, but the fact that Amy is so fat that she can't fit into smaller seats can't surprise her. The first time idiots enter the story is when your sister and mother start criticizing you for failing in some mythical obligation they think you have to inform them when you change your car. Yeah, she was probably embarrassed and mom and sister decided to take it out on OP. Sounds like OP should no longer be available for rides if this is how they treat him for doing them a favor. Why should the entitled sister or her friends get any more rides when they're verbally abusive to OP for, checks notes, trying to maintain a safe driving environment? Not his fault the chick is obese. What was he supposed to do? Wreck his car because her fat was literally covering the stick shift? Seatbelt aside, not like OP could have driven the car with her in it even if they wanted to.